Welcome once again. You are watching Sal TV. This is Salamancer, and I'm going to bring you guys more of the i43 LAN games because there were just so many good ones here in this stage. There was, of course, a group stage before this, but we are watching not the group stage. We are just watching a lot of the playoff games, and these playoff games were incredibly intense. As we've already seen, we're going to be watching two of the very best teams in Europe right now. Infused.tt, we're just going to call them Infused, against Team Epsilon. Both these teams here, very well choreographed opener so far. Looks like one of the soldiers here getting some really good crate ownage here, and looks like, yeah, Team Epsilon very much owning this mid-fight so far. They've just had the better mobility. Mike there tried to run in and deal just a little bit of damage, but it looks like he and the Dome Man have both gone down, so Infused having to walk back. Now, you guys may recognize Infused as the owner, the proud owner of QunTV. These guys, of course, they have Kun on their team, and they do a lot of their, like, first-person not commentary, but they just let you see like how their comms work and all that stuff about their game, which is really amazing. But it looks like so far they're actually getting rolled all the way back to their last point. They did force the enemy to pop their Uber, which is exactly what they wanted to do there. They don't want the enemy running in there with like 100% Uber advantage. So the enemy popped their Uber and they kind of backed out, but they did waste a couple of players there. And so Infused is going to be on the back foot here. Epsilon, it's their call whenever they want to push in, and this could be just a very fast early cap here for Epsilon if they play their cards right. Nonetheless, this is an exciting game between Epsilon and Infused at the i43 LAN, and this was actually round 4 in the winner's bracket. So these guys are getting very, very close. They can smell that prize, the 2,500 British pounds for the winning team. They can taste it. It's right there. It's within reach. There are only a couple more rounds after this before the finals, and so look at how conservatively they're actually playing over here. They are playing very, very well, and they are playing for all the marbles here. Epsilon actually jumping through that doorway just to make sure that a sniper doesn't get him, and they do have a sniper on Infused right now. Let's see who's running sniper. It is Greg. Looks like the Uber's already been popped, so Greg just looking to see if he can't catch anybody off guard, but he's not going to be able to get him. And Mike here actually went all the way around behind, so interesting play by Mike there to try and deal some damage from behind. He did manage to take out Extremer. Very good job by him. And Infused now is actually pushing a little bit farther forward than I've ever seen a defending team push before. Excellently done to them. The only person left alive is F2 right now, the medic, and it's medic versus medic there. Of course, it looks like F2 finally got taken out by Greg, but yeah, intense play right now for that last point, and very good defense put up there by Infused. They managed to hold on, and they are probably going to cap this second point here, try to push out. They're going to have an Uber advantage here if they can do it. Oh, problem is they've got a Demo Man pushing them right now, and they don't want to lose that Uber advantage that they have, so they're actually backing off of the point. Wise idea. They will probably try to push again as soon as they get everybody up and ready to go here. Of course, the problem now, they may just wait for their Uber, actually. No, looks like they still do want to get that. Got a sniper coming in, peeking over here, though, so very, 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 very interesting play. I think they've spotted this, and they're going to keep their medic. Yeah, it looks like they're keeping everybody past these columns, so it's going to make it very difficult for that sniper to actually get in there and kill anything. Sending a scout now out to chase him down. Not sure which scout that is. We will have to try and find out, but it looks like he has been chased back to mid. And I just have not had room for a breather here. These games have been so well coordinated by both teams that the push timings are incredibly well done. It's like as soon as one team has an advantage, they're like, yep, let's push with it. And they don't just die on these pushes either. They are so coordinated with them. It's been amazing so far. So these are, of course, some of the top level teams in Europe at this LAN. Just some amazing stuff so far. Gear gets taken down, and so does, looks like Quad. But the Uber has been popped now for Team Epsilon. It is a little bit after the Uber for Team Infused, and so Infused is probably going to get backed out here. Mike is taking a lot of damage so far, but while they're actually capping mid here, and Infused doing a really good job on offense. Mike just walked in behind that medic and put a lot of pressure down on him. Very good rocket jump there to get back to his own medic and start healing up. Crazy stuff here. So good play so far by both teams. Infused here actually pushing from their last. Very, very tight situation. They've already pushed all the way back to mid now and are on the offensive. So good for them. We are going to go over the rosters here just during this little yard fight, but we will try to keep an eye on that too. Infused is running on the medic, Flushy. On the scouts, the world-famous Kun and Greg, TMN and Mike are their soldiers, and Numlocked, the linchpin of the team for European teams, the Demo Man. Meanwhile, for Team Epsilon, we've got F2 on the medic, we've got Quad and Shocky. I read too many webcomics, that's my problem. But Quad and Shocky are on the scout. Extremer is their Demo Man, and then Gear and Nox are their soldiers. So looks like Epsilon has had to pop that Uber, but a good pop there is going to hold on to that second point for quite a while, and they managed to kill 2 players of Infused. So Kun here walking around the backside, but that's not really where the action is happening just yet. Looks like it may happen in a little bit here, but no, he's just going to drop down and join the rest of his team. That's exactly what he did. Going to keep his scout away from his medic, though. The scout did manage to get out there, so Quad doing a very good job of just getting right back and making sure he stays healed up. Mike, meanwhile, did go down, so we've got Infused having to drop back here. Looks like they had a really good aggressive play going, and now they are back on mid. Epsilon's going to have some trouble here trying to initially push out of those choke points through mid. They can take a lot of damage going through there, but with one man down right now for Infused, they're actually playing really far back, and look at this, Soldier pressuring in really hard trying to get that medic. Didn't deal a heck of a lot of damage, but that medic was below 100 health for a little while, so it wasn't that danger zone that we've always talked about, where he could have just been one-shotted really easily, so that would have been no fun for him. So here we go. Looks like actually Nox and Epsilon both down right now for Epsilon. Nox and Epsilon, I'm sorry, Nox and Shocky. A good Uber popped in there, didn't deal a heck of a lot of damage now though, and look at this body blocking work by the Soldier, amazing stuff. He has split the medic away from his Uber target, now they're having a fallback. Epsilon with just some incredible play yet. Gear does go down, so Infused is having to drop back just a little bit. I'm sorry, not Infused drop back. Of course they are dropping back because they're taking a heck of a lot of spam damage right now, and they did lose Kun, so that's no fun for him, but we've got Gear finally going to come back up in just a moment for Epsilon, so they are holding second, doing a very good job of it. This is some amazingly closely matched and intense play from both teams. A little bit of an overextension there by the Soldier, though, and so that mistake could end up costing them the mid-fight because now they're down by a Soldier and a Demo Man. So, of course, since that Demo Man is basically the pocket for both of these teams most of the time, that's what we're going to see is that Demo Man is, once he goes down, the teams have to back off. So, Infused is, they're still trying to keep some pressure up here, and Epsilon doesn't really want to push out yet through these very narrow choke points here. It sounds like they're finally putting some spam down, but no, they're just content to hold the yard still with this Uber situation. They had a player advantage, and they really could have taken advantage of it. They just decided not to push. I guess maybe they were not feeling confident about that for whatever reason. They could have been out of position, or they thought there were sticky traps or something. I don't know. I didn't manage to see what the decision was. So anyway, you can of course see, and we're going to go find these teams, but you can see that, yeah, the pocketing that demo, and basically the medic brought that demo up there by himself. The Uber was popped there for both teams. So once again, I mean, these teams are just so well coordinated that as soon as they pop that Uber, they want to make sure they're making the enemy pop as well. If you see one team pop ahead of the other team, and then the other team doesn't have to pop, that's going to cause such an advantage for the team that's holding that 100% Uber. It's just crazy. So both teams making very sure they make that other team pop along with them. Mike's walking out here, and he sees the entire red team over there staring back at him, but just because of the way damage fall-off works, he can stand there and not take a heck of a lot of damage from the enemy team, just kind of avoid the rockets and stuff, and he'll be A-okay. Oh, man. So, Infused defending mid once again, and this is actually turned into kind of a slow game. The stalemate is basically happening because of these tiny choke points between the mid and the second. Now, the way it's working, of course, is that Infused is trying to push up here and hold through this little garage if they can. It is called the garage. If they do that, of course, they've got a little bit less ability to rotate around to this side, so they've got to be careful if they can keep their support where they need it. And now it looks like Epsilon is pressuring through garage. They've knocked out Numlocked, and now with Numlocked down and lots and lots of damage going down onto Mike over here, I think that's what they need. They're going to push in, and they're just going to Uber right through that doorway so they don't take a lot of damage. Flushy now running back away, and we do have Infused here, I think, getting the worst of this exchange so far. They've lost, looks like lost a Soldier, and now Quad is finally down for Epsilon, but it sounds like Infused may have ended up losing this fight. They have walked back, but they walked back with their medic intact, and now, wow, look at this, some big pressure going down on the medic over here for both teams. Look at just how awesome these players are at protecting their medics. Both teams, despite all of the action that's been going on, have kept their medics alive and done a very, very good job of it. So Infused versus Epsilon, it is 0-0 right now. This has just been an amazingly close game so far, and we are watching the Kun Cam, but of course you guys probably see a lot of that on Kun.tv or QunTV at YouTube. If you don't see that, I highly recommend going to check it out after this video. Epsilon here is going to be just checking out the flanks here and making sure that nothing comes around this way, rotates to the side, and tries to catch red team off guard. That would be no good, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's very rare that you'll ever see a team try to push out through that garage and just get more than one person walking around the flanks. Even one person can be deadly, though, as you kind of have to watch multiple angles at once. Looks like that Uber was popped as late as humanly possible on the Demo Man before he died, but there goes a good counter Uber by Epsilon, and once again, it looks like these pushes here, just whenever you push in a situation like that, the defender always has the advantage because they can deal more damage to you than you can to them right up until you start Ubering. And so you then have to kind of Uber first, and oh no, there goes one of the first medic kills of the game. Flushy ends up, it wasn't the first, but one of the first. Flushy ends up, I think, taking down that medic. So, wait, is that right? Flushy didn't take down the medic. Flushy's on that medic's team. That's what happened. Well, anyway, blue medic has gone down, and yet, look at how awesome the scout played here. They could have lost mid, but he ran around for a back cap knowing that his medic was down, and so he just started getting a little bit of time on that point, forced Epsilon to turn around and deal with it. Epsilon made the smart choice. They didn't try to push in and leave one person to stay behind. They want to make sure that they don't lose this game, because like I said, 2,500 pounds on the line. That's about 5,000, maybe even more US dollars for the winning team. And of course that gets split 6 ways, but hey, I'd take like 400 pounds any day, so yeah, count me in, right? Yeah, these teams are very, very much interested in making sure they secure the big bucks at the end of this game. This is not the finals game, of course, and so they still have to play just a bit more. Good Uber here in by Epsilon, though, and of course the enemy does not have an Uber yet. They have managed to, looks like, turn this around and finally capture the midpoint once again. So they were, of course, at the beginning of this round, pushing on to last. Infused has pushed all the way on to mid, but it looks like Infused just could not push past mid successfully. And that's no fault of their own. I mean, it's extremely difficult to push through these tiny, narrow choke points here. We're just seeing that you can get a lot of great sticky traps in the garage, and the garage is just very, very dangerous to push through for that reason. Not a lot of sticky traps up right now for Infused, though, and their medic is down. So Epsilon has a big Uber advantage. They should be able to take second. But look at the... Oh, wow. Great ambush spot there by Mike. Just was not paying attention there. And so there goes Nox. Mike goes down as well. But Mike doing what he needed to do and slowing down that push significantly by getting that ambush. So Infused should be able to hold on a second here for a little bit longer. Problem is Epsilon still has that Uber, so they're going to want to try to get somebody in there to make the Uber pop as fast as they can. We're going to have to see what happens, though. We're going to watch the Extremer cam for just a little bit. Extremer, the demo man for Epsilon. We have not seen him a lot this game, but he has, of course, been getting a lot of kills and a lot of picks, a lot of damage. I mean, really, the demo man is just the damage output machine. So we're gonna watch some of that damage get output right now. He does get Ubered right away, and this is very, very good timing. They knew the timing of the Infused Uber. They know Infused did not have it ready yet, so they pushed in. Problem is they didn't manage to kill the medic because Infused did a good job of backing out. So now the medic for the Infused team has the Uber advantage. The problem is they are defending their last point, and so if they try to push in with this Uber, of course, they run the risk of getting a scout running around and back capping. They are, looks like, going to push in with it, and they're going to try and cap this point again. Very, very good defense there. A scout looked like he wanted to run around to the side and get a flanking action going on, but he ended up getting taken down. Taking down. Infused here has had to back... no, I'm sorry. Epsilon here has had to back off from the second point once again. Looks like they're going to have about an even Uber situation here, just trying to defend the interior of the garage as long as they can before they have to fall back to the midpoint and just set up those standard, oh-so-standard hold points that we see here on CP Granary. Now, the way these European matches work, and I want to specify that I do know how they work now, is that these are played to 30 minutes. Regardless of how many caps you get, it's just played to 30 minutes. So, anything can happen, guys, within that 30-minute time limit. But, oh no, Kun is down. We got to get another camera going on. Looks like so far the Ubers have been popped. Epsilon has a little bit of an advantage, but look at the positioning advantage they have. Walking right around the side of the Infused team. I think Infused may have had some members who were still coming up at the time, but good cap there to Epsilon to just walk around the side and say, look, nobody's standing on the point. Let's just go get it. That makes it easy, right? So, excellent cap to them. And it is 1-0, Epsilon against Infused. Epsilon feeling happy about that, but anything can happen here. We have seen, this has actually been a very, very slow match on Granary so far. Exciting nonetheless, but just from the point situation, it's been slow. I mean, it's been very, very slow to see how long these two teams have spent just getting that one first cap, but it's been such an amazing amount of great play here. Looking at this mid-fight here, Epsilon once again getting a really big advantage here player-wise. Infused having to back out here. They will do so successfully and not take a lot of damage from those pills. That's what they don't want to do. So, Team Infused calling out their charge. Of course, they just want to make sure that the enemy doesn't know exactly when they have that Uber charge ready to go. But yeah, he is fully charged, so we have 100% versus 100%. And the Uber was popped a little bit later for Infused. Problem is they're swapping it around now between the Scout and the Soldier, and really not to a lot of benefit. That Scout got the Uber briefly, just hopped in, didn't deal any damage, and hopped back out, and that wastes a lot of time on the Uber. So now, oh no, Infused having to drop back here. They've lost 3 of their players already, not dealing any damage. Epsilon capping the second point and pushing on to the last at the same time. This is going to be a very quick capture for Epsilon, with all 6 members of Infused wiped out there on that second point. No good for Epsilon, or for Infused. Very good for Epsilon. They can see that 2,500 pounds just getting this much closer. So Epsilon, we're going to watch Extremer's Demo Man roll out once again. If we haven't seen it already, that is. I think we have, but we're going to watch. Actually, he did not take a sticky jump through that internal area, so interesting to see that. If he'd done that, it would have been just a little bit faster, but of course he would have a little bit less health to go along with that. So decided to keep the health up, and it looks like both teams have done practically the same thing here. They're going to keep at least one scout to stand back, and look at this. They've got a scout standing back and defending the Demo Man. They actually call in the European leagues, we talk about pocket soldiers in North America, they talk about pocket scouts. They have one scout whose job is to sit back and defend that Demo Man, especially at mid-fights, and so he is the pocket scout. That is that's how that works. Epsilon here falling back. They are significantly at an Uber disadvantage because the medic was not healing anybody for quite a while. So this is Infused's time to shine and turn the game around. Hopefully they can get a capture here very quickly. They've got 100%. So does the enemy, though, so it's going to be Uber against Uber when they try to push into last. And Kun looks like he's looking for an enemy here who's trying to flank. They haven't spotted him yet. Sounds like there's a little bit of fighting going on in there. And yeah, just some damage coming in here on the upper ground so far. It looks like Blue maybe wants to push lower. Yeah, that soldier just sneaking in, trying to deal some damage with a sneaky rocket, but rockets are not all that sneaky, believe it or not. When you fire them, they make lots and lots of noise. It's just kind of a function of how rockets work. You know, they shoot stuff out of the back of them that is very, very loud, and it makes the rocket go faster. So, good choice here on defense by Epsilon, running a heavy. That's going to deal a lot of damage very quickly. And of course, as he's invincible, I mean, what can you do against that, right? Invincible heavy, dealing a heck of a lot of damage to your team. So, Infused pops back out here, but Epsilon has the Uber disadvantage just ever so slightly. It's not going to matter too much, but oh no, TMN has gone down. That's one of the soldiers for Team Infused. So we're going to have to see whether Epsilon decides to take advantage of that and push back out. I mean, anything can happen here, and especially in these very, very high-level games, just going down by one player can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes at lower-level games, you'll see like a 6-on-5 situation, and the 5 players will still win because there's some kind of like weird positioning advantage, or they just have better deathmatch skills or something. But no, at this high level, in a 5v6 situation, you will almost always expect to see the 6 win, just because they will. Every single player on each team is going to maximize their play style, and they're really going to feel it if they lose a single player, even just a scout. So Epsilon once again pops the Uber, keeping their heavy alive up there for as long as possible. He finally gets knocked off that pipe there, so he's not going to be quite in the position he wants. But Infused is once again standing back. They've lost a scout, and they're just sitting on the second point here. So time is actually ticking down, and we're going to check the timer here in just a second. Mike is hanging out on an ambush spot, and oh, there we go. Oh no, doesn't quite manage to get that sniper. That sniper is finally dead, but not before he. Not before our soldier there, Mike, went down as well. So looks like if they'd killed that sniper and not lost the soldier, they would have been okay. But the problem is now they are, of course, down a soldier. They don't want to push in with that. They're running a sniper of their own. That is going to be, what's the guy's name? Greg, once again, is on the sniper instead of the scout. Very, very standard to see a sniper off class on Granary. But yeah, look at the map time left. Only 11 minutes left, and it's only 0-2 right now on CP Granary. Normally you'll see about like 5 caps here. Oh, body shot onto Greg before you could even scope in. So looks like Epsilon was very ready for that. The Uber charge is ready to go for Flushy here, but the problem he has is he can't push in a 5-on-6. They're just not going to have enough DPS output to outdo the DPS of Team Epsilon. So Epsilon is putting up a very, very strong hold with his heavy here, and it looks like Infused, it's both times they've backed out, it's because the Uber's gone down to the heavy, and they just said, okay, we can't kill the heavy, we need to back off. Of course, it's a wise decision, but every time they Uber this heavy, of course, they're just keeping the team alive that much longer, and they just can't seem to get the sniper picks that they want here. They want Greg to come here, go big, shoot some people in the head, but he's just not able to do it so far. So, Epsilon, once again, just poking into the right-hand side, and they've just they've held this point for, what, like 4 minutes almost. Just some amazing defense here on this last point by Epsilon. So we're kind of waiting for either team to drop the ball at this point. It's just whichever team makes a mistake first is going to end up losing this round pretty much. Both teams very, very close to their Ubers. Both teams having their medics like call out stuff just to mask when their Uber is actually charged. We've got that heavy sitting down. Do we still have, yes, we still have Greg on the sniper. We still have Quad on the counter sniper as well. Both of them trying to hit each other. Looks like this could be the really big, this could be the moment that we've been waiting for. We've finally got a push going in. Mike goes down again, but Quad and Shocky both down, and so it looks like Infused is running in here, getting the Uber going off, flashing it at just the right moment there to keep that soldier alive, but the problem is they're having to back out once again. A soldier chasing him down. That heavy is still up. A soldier out here being very, very aggressive, and oh, look at this, the heavy goes down. This could be the capture that Infused wants, and there we go. Oh no! Very, very clutch so far. Scout standing on the point, just barely defending it here for Epsilon. Oh my gosh, there we go. Finally, Infused caps. It is 2-1. Epsilon for Infused. That was insane. So wow, getting some good respawns here, so make sure Epsilon can get out there and cap this point. But wow, that was absolutely intense. Finally putting some points up there on the board for Infused after two and a half kind of failed pushes there. They have finally managed to capture a point, and so hopefully they can bring this game back and make it a 2-2. Go into some kind of overtime golden cap situation is what they call it over in Europe, where whoever manages to cap first wins, I do believe. Cap that last point, that is. And so we are seeing a very, very conservative play right now from Infused at the mid-fight. They've been losing these mid-fights pretty badly, and it's been due to the aggression of Epsilon. But so far, that aggression of Epsilon is kind of backfiring, and I like this play by Infused. They played conservatively. They stayed back until they knew which crates the enemy were jumping up on, and then they jumped up to counter them. Now Epsilon has actually lost 4 players here at the mid-fight, where only Greg is down right now for Infused. So Epsilon having to fall back once again, and Infused on the offensive here. They've only got about 9 minutes left to try and bring this game to a 2-2 situation. But looks like they should be able to do it. The Uber has been popped for Epsilon, and with nothing gained there, oh my gosh, that's going to be really bad. 100% Uber advantage for Infused pushing in, and he is totally going to be all over us like shingles. That is going to be insane. Epsilon goes down right away. Look at that Uber flashing. Holy crap, keeping 3 people invincible at the same time. Finally, Numlock and TMN have gone down, but only 2 left alive for Epsilon, and there we go. That's going to be probably, oh, Flushy goes down, but the second cap there for Infused. So Infused versus Epsilon here. Great game so far. It is 2-2. And we are watching QunTV. No, just kidding. We're watching Sal TV, watching the QunTV cam. And Infused versus Epsilon, 2-2 game. This has been very, very close, very intense so far. And my stream is telling me that that you should take a shot every time I get worked up. No, don't do that, guys. You will die of alcohol poisoning before I can finish my casts, and that would be very bad for me because then my streaming audience is gone and all my subs will disappear. I'd be very sad. So Epsilon here once again being super, super aggressive in this mid fight. Not working out for him so far. Shocky has gone down first, but TMN finally died to the twin soldiers here pushing up the side, and their medics there as well. But he goes down right away. Extremer's down as well. Looks like Infused has kept their medic alive. Only Gear left up, and Gear has gone down. So Infused has won this mid fight once again. So they could actually push out here. They may end up winning in this round 4 of the playoffs. So they're tasting it, guys. They are tasting that 2,500 British pounds. They really want to win that. And I mean, if I were in that situation, I would too. So, are they actually? Oh no, okay. He was just. I was like, are they running a pyro? This is gonna be crazy. But then they didn't, because it turns out he was just changing spawns. Mike here, we're watching the Mike cam just a little bit as he runs in, tries to get some kills. Mike didn't actually get a kill there though, and they ended up losing their medic at that point. That's not good. Epsilon looks like they actually had an Uber advantage there, but they may have either popped it or dropped it. One or the other. Now Gear does go down. And Infused has brought a heavy to the second point. Not something you will see every day, but yes, they have brought a heavy to the second point, and I think they want to push on the last with this heavy. That's going to be really insane if they can actually get the heavy out there and deal a lot of damage. Extreme are going to be spamming in here. They do have about 50% Uber advantage for Epsilon, so if there's going to be any time for them to push out and try to make a play for second, that's going to be right about now, and it's exactly what they're doing. They're going to push in from the side. Here comes the Uber, and they actually jump off the side here and just completely skip the heavy. They're just like, yeah, forget it. We don't want to deal with the heavy just yet. They're just walking around past it. What the heck? they're like, yeah, we don't care about this heavy. We're just going to let the rest of our team deal with him. So well done there. Actually, they're going to cap that second. The soldier came out here, tried to deal some damage to Infused, and actually did deal a lot of damage to the medic. The medic for Infused, Fleshy, I think is his name, is in the danger zone right now. Just now getting out of that danger zone with his medic regen. But there we go. Finally got that 100% ready. And we are watching basically vanilla TF2 right now. This is played pretty much vanilla except for what they call medlocks, or unlocks for the medic. So the medic can use certain unlocks like the Uber saw in the Kritzkrieg. Otherwise, though, I mean, that's it. It's all vanilla. Shovels for the soldiers, bats for the scouts, nothing else. Epsilon here falling back once again from an Uber. Quad actually doing a really good job of getting around behind and trying to do some flanking, but he finally goes down. So Epsilon and Infused both have lost a scout here. Infused is pushing forward into yard. They can't push into the point yet, though. This is one of those hold points there. After they've pushed in from the mid, if they don't have a significant advantage, they'll hold off in this yard area. Problem is, they're getting flanked right now from the garage, and so Epsilon pushing in through the garage and forcing Infused back to mid. And look at this, they're once again pushing through the garage. Infused just not in position to take advantage of that. Looks like, oh wow, and TMN goes down, so actually Epsilon having a player advantage here. Mike just trying to deal some damage. Nox has gone down, but so has Kun, so Epsilon is going to be capturing mid. They've got an Uber advantage right now. That's why Infused was backing off. The Uber advantage went to Epsilon, and so they knew they couldn't take that on. But yeah, now Infused finally has that Uber ready to go, and so hopefully they can turn this around. It is, of course, 2-2 right now between Infused and Epsilon, so gonna have to see whether Infused can turn it around or whether Epsilon can bring it up to 3-2 and secure the victory. So here we go. They are going to push in here and deal a lot of damage. Oh my gosh, lots and lots of damage going down on that soldier. But he gets back just in time and is going to get those heals from the medic. So we're going to see, looks like we've got just a little bit of a flank soldier, and he's standing perfectly still. Doesn't want anybody to know he's there. So we're not going to say anything. Not going to say anything at all. Just going to wait and see where they decide to push in. No, okay, he's backing off. The Uber situations, of course, are even, and so if Epsilon were to try to push in, they probably would have a disadvantage unless they got a really awesome flank going on and just got a surprise rocket in the face to somebody. There we go. The Ubers are popped just now, and it looks like Epsilon did want to pop first and push in while the enemy was just a little bit out of position. Infused popped second, trying to deal some damage there, not doing a heck of a lot, and so we're not really seeing a lot of different stuff go down. But no, as I say that, soldiers up here got up onto the high ground, and now Infused getting wiped out. Oh no, that's no good for Infused. They do manage to take out F2, so the medic is down. Problem is, everybody is dead on Infused. All they have to do here for Epsilon is walk onto the point and capture it. And with only 3 minutes left, Infused are really going to have their work cut out for them. They're going to have to play extremely aggressively at the mid-fight, take out the medic, and keep theirs alive. Because if they don't, we're going to watch Epsilon going on to the next round. And Infused, now this is a double elimination tournament, so Infused will go on to the losers bracket, and so that means one more loss for them, and they will end up being out of the tournament. So Epsilon pushing out to the midpoint. We're going to have to see how aggressive Infused is going to play here because they do not want to lose this round. Just now seeing them get here, looks like their demo man may have been a little bit slow. Yeah, he's been actually really slow to mid. That's not good at all for their aggression. And look at this, the soldiers already own the crates. They've got the high ground on Team Red, so that's exactly what they want to be doing. Pushing around the left-hand side as they've been doing so much here. Epsilon just really loves this left side for getting those flanks on Infused, and Infused has lost a lot of players right now. Epsilon pulling out the needles, trying to make sure that F2 stays alive, and Infused has lost everybody but the demo man right now, so it's just numlocked against the rest of them. Being really super aggressive here, but he's just going to get shotgunned out of the air. So, sorry man, not a lot you can do when you're in that situation as a demo man. He tried his best, but it looks like with Epsilon capturing the midpoint, that just may be the game for them. In this playoffs round, getting very close to the final match. So loving to see these teams, and I hope we see more of them in the tournament. I'll probably cast more of their games because both of them are just amazingly awesome teams. This is really super cool. Infused though, sitting back on their last point, and this is not where they want to be in a situation where it's 3-2. I mean, they would have to kind of tie it up in like under 2 minutes here. So if they can do anything, they're going to have to do it while the enemy has an Uber advantage. And Epsilon is just sitting very comfortably on that second point. Greg here, I mean, Infused is doing the right thing in any normal situation by just playing back. But now look at this, Greg peeking in for a quick snipe. Not going to be able to do it though. The enemy has very. Oh no! Flushy's actually down. Shocky managed to get him. Now Infused collapsing on the, Epsilon collapsing on the point. Infused doing the same thing, of course, trying to keep it from getting capped. But this may end up going 4-2 here. Epsilon with a very good Uber now that Flushy has died. So they are getting lots and lots of kills. Only 2 soldiers left alive here, but it's only 1 soldier and 1 medic up right now for Epsilon. So it looks like they may not be able to cap this just yet. Problem is, they're... Oh, needle kills for Epsilon, and that is going to probably be the game. GG for Epsilon. Epsilon has won the game against Infused 4-2. Excellently played to both teams. Looks like they are both going to disconnect just now, and that is going to be the game, guys. So thanks for watching. Make sure to tell your friends to check out all this awesome competitive TF2 stuff. Check out XTV, check out Vanilla TF2, check out QunTV, and of course, subscribe here on Salamancer. I am signing out.